All right, this is Elliot Wave Sage again. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. I did want to just do a quick stream tonight just to see if we capture anybody that may have missed the earlier session because of time zones or schedules. Just give you guys an opportunity while I have some time. Yeah, Bitcoin is, your question. Bitcoin is struggling. It is finding a challenging time. I said that if we can break this level here, it would be a strong likelihood that this two is in, and then you have some kind of 1-2. But what I was noticing as we're coming out of this, we may actually come back and erase divergence again. So it may actually really could also still be in B if it comes up almost too quickly, and then it turns into some kind of three-wave move. So still, even breaking this high is still concerning, just based on the pattern that may be developing here. But I think it's way too early to worry about it. I would say that most likely path is if we break this high, the low is in. I would say 80% chance, maybe even 90% the low's in. Okay, this would be a very unlikely path at that point, but it still can't be ruled out. But right now it is a battle happening. There's a battle with Bitcoin, and it's trying to overcome this technical resistance here. And we'll see if it can do that. The futures are moving higher here. The Dow Jones, I would be careful again, chasing and getting too euphoric. We have bearish divergence. We still haven't taken this high out. Now it looks like we're about to. So we don't have the fifth wave quite yet. But if we can get that fifth wave, then we could top. And then wave 2 should somewhere around 40,005. So that'd be about 500-600 points down. If we do make this fifth wave, this wave 2 would be a long opportunity that could present itself for traders against this low. So if that develops, but right now we'll see if we can get this fifth wave here finished off for now. And I'll call it a fifth. Now if we erase divergence, it could turn into a 1-2. It could just keep going. And I did look like we did find this bottom, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm not surprised to see this. So quick question here with earnings coming up. What do you think of Starbucks and MC? So let's take a look. I haven't looked at Starbucks in a while. I did look for a bigger correction. I did want to see a bigger pullback in Starbucks. I did want to see a bigger pullback. So I believe we're going to get a breakdown into 57, into this area here for this wave 2, and a nice three-wave move. Okay. So going into earnings, I would say we could look at this chart closely. It looks like 3 swings down. So again, it looks like a 3-swing down move. It looks like race divergence. So put that there. 3 connector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this leg looks finished, but we haven't taken out. Well, we did. Yeah, I believe we'll have a bounce. I believe we'll have a bounce, and then it will fail. So this looks like, to me, see, we could have made an argument there, but we didn't break this low. We broke that low there. So it looks like we have 5 down. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So really 3. I think Starbucks is going to do something like this. And then bounce. And then fail. Again, I think this is a market-wide sell-off. So maybe start, so I think trading Starbucks into earnings is really tough because you either will get that B on earnings and get a spike, or you're going to get a drop and a reversal. That's what this looks like to me. I think, you know, I look at it and, you know, I can't rule out the possibility that it does like a Dexcom and just drops completely, you know. So I don't know. I think if I was probably trading it into earnings, I'd like to take the short side of the trade, but get a good setup. So maybe you can get a pre-earnings pump, and then try to take the short side of the trade maybe. If it could pump up to 86, 85 before earnings. When is earnings? Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, Tuesday. Yeah, it's probably not going to make it up there. So I don't know. This isn't a good clear setup, but I do project it to go lower. I'm probably leaning towards the lower side. Let me jump to the super chat real quick. Jonathan, thanks again for the big super chat. So which stocks are going into wave 3 that you really like, want to take some longs on? The first one that comes to mind is the GDXJ. I believe is not have its wave 3. I was looking at that earlier. Gold miners. If I can find it, Gold Miners Junior. So the GDXJ here. Looking at this pattern, you have a 1 2 1 2 3 4 and a 1. It looks like it's either this and it's like ready to launch, or I think we'll get this flat, maybe down to 39. But then when this plays out, we should get wave 3. So I like the GDXJ wave 3. So that's like my first thing that came to mind. I don't think it's corrective because we made a higher high right here. Right? We had 3. I could have said, oh, it's corrective. It's going to go all the way back down. But once we made this higher high, we're good in the GDXJ. So that's what I do like the GDXJ for a wave 3. I guess the GDX probably is the same type of chart. Let's take a look. We got a 1 2 1 2 3. Yeah, it could be the same thing. I could put the 5 here, and then we're pulling back and out. So that's what I'm looking at. So this one's a little different, right? A, B, C, so it's a little different look. So I actually like the GDXJ better. But you'll have to decide. I don't know why one would be so different than the other. Maybe the you know, just this one maybe is a tell. Maybe it's giving us a clue. But I think I do like this as a wave 3. What other things are out there that could be in wave 3s? We do a lot of requested stocks for people. Let's take a look at the ones I'm watching. I have a lot on my watch list. I will just kind of flip through them real quick. I believe Amcor could have a wave 3 here when it gets to this area at 34.36. AMD, when it gets to 100, could enter wave 3. Tesla, if it makes this 5th wave and pulls back, that would be a good opportunity. Amazon here could be the wave 2. We get wave 3. But I do worry that Amazon will go deeper with a bounce and failure, but there's no guarantee. So the way to trade Amazon is to buy it at 159, 160. And then if the market stops you out, you get out and you just buy it again later. What's ARM up to? ARM could be traded into a wave 3 here at 129, 135, and a 1212. This one I really like for a wave 3 opportunity. Again, it could still bounce and fail, so you play the bounce and then let the market stop you out if you're wrong. Dell's also traded into a potential wave 2 here. And again, if that's the case, it'll go to wave 3, or it will bounce and fail. So you could buy that and go. So there's a lot of different opportunities. The SOXL does show a bounce and a failure, so I do not like to trade that. But if we do trade down here, that could be a good opportunity for wave 2. How's the SILJ? Here, if we pull back on SILJ down to 990, that would be a great 2 for a great wave 3 opportunity. So what I think is topping mostly is indices, right? Indices, but there's some stocks that have pulled back pretty deep. Now the semis have already run, so you got to be careful for the bounce and failure, but these miners have not. So you have more, I think you have more opportunity there than the other things. Let me just kind of take a look. Another good opportunity is in the energy space with Schlumberger. Here, if we could make this push lower down to 40 and 37, that could be a wave 2 for a big breakout later. The OIH, the same thing. If we could push down to 267, I would like to take these trades in these two as wave 3s. And I think we looked at URA. URA is almost in a buy area for wave 2. This could be a 1-2, 1-2, wave 3 breakout in uranium. Any moment, actually. But I think it could go a little lower, but, you know. So I just went through so many trade ideas, and there's so many of these that you could try to play on the long side. But I think there's also quite a few that you probably want to be careful about, like individual stocks. Like Apple is very dangerous potentially. I wouldn't think we've talked about this could come and bounce and fail. This wave 3 may not happen. It could even be a flat, so I wouldn't trade that. Amazon, even though you buy this here, you'll get a bounce, but that bounce probably will fail. So you just have to keep an open mind. So these don't have a good, the reward might not be that great here, but if you do get lucky and get the 3, great. And then here the indices though are in 4s and 5s. The Qs a 4 and 5. The Dow Jones topping in 5 and a 4 and 5. So the indices is really not where you want to be holding. Like there's other things out there. This is choppy here, but everyone loves to trade the indices. I know, and they don't want to give it up. But I'm just showing you some setups. So I really like. I guess if I had to I like that. Like the Schlumberger OIH. I like the uranium. I like the silver miner, gold miner. Those would be my first choices to go long. If I was going to buy something on Monday, those would probably be the things I'd like to buy. If it, of course I like it to go lower, but it may not. Those are the things. They haven't run yet. All the other stuff is a kind of run, so they're at risk of a double correction, even though they could bounce. Even though those semis are oversold, they are due for a bounce. Though a bounce could fail still. Amcor has not really run yet. So I think the third derivative plays in semis haven't run, so maybe those are better plays. So anyway, thanks for the 20, man. Let's go back to the question, MasterCard. So we saw Visa giving up the ghost, right? We saw Visa maybe enter in a flat. Maybe MC is in. I thought MC is MasterCard. What is MC? Some other company. I never heard of it. Molis. So it looks like you have 5 up here, 3 down, 5 up. So it's probably something like this. And then you bottomed out here, and now you're pushing higher. It looks like to me very bullish. So I would label this as a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Looks like it's about to have a takeoff. What does this company do? It looks like it's about to do that. So what does this company do? It is some finance company, financials. Yeah, I don't know why it's so bullish, but the chart looks like you have a pretty good setup for a breakout. And if I'm conservative, of course, I could be a little more conservative. I could put this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put this as a 1, a 2, You still get the breakout. All right. SE, let's take a look at SE real quick. Let's see here, SE. So SE, we had it finished here. We were looking for that pullback. We got it. It truncated. We did not get down, so it's pretty bullish. And now we're in this wave 3. It looks like it ended. Let's see here. Something like this. And then it did a flat of some kind. And then that gets you to here. So if that's the case, we should be ready to turn higher and come out. Now, the flat can extend, so there's no guarantee. I'm just showing you an idea. I would put a stop loss at 58.43 and see if you can get this wave. But yeah, it looks like you're close to finishing this correction. But since it is a flat, we need well, there's your 4. So maybe one more low, push down to 62.53, and then that should maybe do it. That's what I'm thinking. If you have time, RBX, IBRX. Yeah, let me see how that's doing. IBRX, we broke this low. So you had a connector here that failed. So now if we look, this 4 is becoming too extreme. We only have 3 up. So I would be careful that you didn't make a corrective move here off this low, which means it could set you up for breaking this low down here. So it looks like to me you've got more downside. It could bounce. I'll show you the bounce area now, and if you're lucky, it'll keep going and bounce to new high, break this high. But it looks like it's going to head to 267 and retest this low at some point as it finishes its sequence down. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Can you check Tilray? Tilray. Yeah, let's take a look at Tilray. Let's see here. So we wanted to finish this C leg, the finish 2. Did we finish it here? Yeah, looks like that's probably where it finished, right there. It's probably a WXY correction. It's probably not, but regardless, I think we got it right here. So I'd be looking for more upside from here against this low. This low has to hold at 162. You see, we have just a little bit of bullish divergence there. So I mean, I could force an impulse off this low, but we need more downside, I think, to continue lower. That gets you to 172, 161. So if that holds, that should set you up for a move higher. If that breaks, then the correction is going to continue, and it's probably going to go a lot lower. Okay. Yeah, no problem. What do you think about PLUR and serve? I think someone asked about serve already. I don't know this PLUR one. Let's see here, PLUR one. Looks like we haven't done that yet. So PLUR, so right away when I see a chart like this, like I always say, you break that low, it really hurts the chart. It's just too bearish, right? You see, you can't really get a good gauge on where it is. So the best way to chart this is to just look for 5 waves down from this peak, and then you just hopefully get lucky here. There's really no other way to trade it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. And either the 5's done here or it's going to extend in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So don't know yet. So if that's the case, we should see it run higher, back up into this area. We'll have to wait and see because it's going to correct this whole cycle. So that's what it looks like it's about to do. But there's no indication that has happened. It still could be extended down in 5, but this does look 3 waves. So just keep that in mind. I think at some point you'll just have to take the leap of faith and buy it and hope you get it right. If you buy it here, you probably want to put your stop loss at 359 and maybe you get lucky. Okay, Eric, yeah, let's take a look at Fubu and Laser. Let's see, Fubu was in a bottom-in process when we looked at it last time, but it also had an important pivot that needed to hold. So far, it looks okay. Looks like we're trying to come out. Looks like that's a 4 wave. I think it's something like this. And then you're going to pull back. And then if you're lucky, you go back up. Now, we haven't made the 5th wave, and because of that, it could still be corrective. So it could still just be an ABC, which means if we can't take this high out at 159, it could come back and break this low and go penny stock status. So we just don't know for sure what the market wants to do, but I'm just kind of giving you what I think it's going to happen. Laser, L-A-Z-I-R, let's look at that. Luminar Technologies. Thought we've done this one before. Guess not. All right, so this one looks like it was a SPAC or something, and it came in and it broke the low. So, this is only a 3-way move. It's corrective, so it's just basically in an impulse down. This looks like Fisker's chart before it went out of business. I'll be honest with you. It looks like to me you've got 1, 2, 3. You got some kind of impulse down here. So we'll just say it's like 1, 2. Yeah, I think it's finished this impulse. So we should see a bounce play to retrace this move. It seems like that's a pretty weak bounce. You have an RSI break. The weekly cycle is turning higher. So it does look like there's some kind of bottom here. So I'd be looking for more upside. And this too could still extend down. So it's tough to say, but you really need this low to hold at 121. or it's going to be a go to zero, a Fisker type situation at the company. So this is really needs to hold, and then you need to start building up because you've corrected the cycle. You've already corrected this whole cycle, even with this feeble bounce. So you just have to understand that the big picture. This company's got a lot of problems. If it breaks this now, if it can build out, great. I'll just keep going. All right, Donald, let's take a look at Pfizer. Pfizer was doing pretty good last time we saw Pfizer. Let's see here. Pfizer was coming out just like we had hoped. Is pushing out. We got a 1-2. Looks like we've got wave 5 that should be finishing up. Now, because we're early in the cycle, it could easily extend rapidly, erase divergence. So I'm just showing you a more conservative count, but everything looks like it's on track. But it does look like this wave 5 should be coming to an end at some point, and then you'll get another pullback. So you're going to get something like this and like that, and then you should get a much deeper pullback like that. And that could be a last chance opportunity to get long Pfizer if you've missed this move. But there's no guarantee this will happen. It can always just keep extending and V-bottom. We just don't know. And NVDL, that's the levered long. I think it's important to look at the stock before we jump into that. So Nvidia is in a buy area. I do believe we'll have a bounce and a failure. The reason I think we'll have a failure is a couple reasons. One, the degree of correction we're in. Okay, so this wave 4 matches with this wave 2. This wave 2 took from November 21 to October 22, almost a full year. This wave 4 probably isn't going to be over in just a few weeks. I mean, this took 1 year. This could take the rest of the calendar year to play out. This may take some time to develop. But is it due a bounce? Sure. Now X could be choppy, it could be overlapping pattern, it could be a triangle, it could be a lot of things. And because of that, NVDL could be just dead money as you're just eviscerated and chop. So that's I'm just trying to tell you. So I think the NVDL trade is probably dead for a while. That's just my personal opinion, but now we can go look at that and see what it looks like. So let's pull that up. NVDL, let's see here. So it's very different looking chart. You see they got that big extended fifth here. My guess is we'll lose the whole thing. We'll probably come back down to $25. So we have a big extended fifth. And I believe we'll eventually, again, it's due a bounce. It's definitely due a bounce. But like I said, it's in an area where it can bounce and you could try to pick it up right here. But my guess is that bounce is going to fail. And do something like that. This X can be so many things. Like I said, it could be, something like that. It could be, this. Even so many things. So I don't know. But I think it's due a bounce at any moment. I would be surprised and shocking to just have it just crash. But if it does, then I would be looking to pick it up somewhere down in this $25 area or wait for Nvidia hits its target and buy it wherever Nvidia hits its target, which is probably right around $75, $80 around here. But again, we don't really know the target until we get the bounce. Like we could project the target. So we don't have that. They're just saying, so that's how I look at this. We know we are in a weekly cycle correction. We broke the weekly cycle. This is evidence that this will bounce and fail as the weekly cycle unwinds, just like it did here. just like it did here. So guys, that's why I would not get all bulled up on Nvidia right now. Just the evidence isn't there. Now, is there a trade opportunity? There is. There's a trade opportunity here for people that are want to take it, and you just got to put a stop and do that. But I think this bounce will fail. I really do. Okay. Let's try to get a 618 target as well. Let's look for the 618 retrace, which is a typical wave 4 target. And that's $92. Could go as low as 77. This is a better area for the low for wave 4. All right, so I don't like trading Nvidia. I showed so many other things earlier that are more interesting to me to trade. I would rather long Tesla, TSLL, and play back into the low on that. But really, if that breaks down, then you're saying Tesla's going to 100, and I don't think that, I think to me that if I'm going to long big cap tech, I think that's probably the one I do. I probably wouldn't mess with this thing. All right, TKT went. Looks like we have some crypto here. We'll take a look at your crypto real quick. ORDI. I don't think I have these. Yeah, so we'll have to pull them up. ORDI USDT on Bybit. Okay, so here we go. Got a nice 5-wave move up and a flat correction. Maybe not. Let's just think about this for a minute. Yeah, it's definitely 5 up from here, 3 down, connector, 3 up. Yeah, so it's definitely a flat correction. The problem I have is this C wave doesn't really have the right look. Like here, it would have been good to have the low here, but you broke the low. So I think it's got more downside. And this is some connector, and we'll have to just kind of gauge where we think it should be. So I think it has one more swing lower down, and then I could find a low. So I think that's what we're looking for, something like that. So let's see, your next one is Merle and Bybit. All right, so this one, let's see here. Yeah, it's going to be hard to analyze it because of this little pump there, but I'll do my best. Let's just assume that's the high, and we're coming off in 3 swings. If that's the case, that would be the low. We don't have enough chart data to really do a proper RSI analysis. It did hit the buy area exactly where we wanted it, and it's finding support. So I believe we can assume it's in a new bull cycle off the low, trying to build off that low. But the problem is you only have 3 waves. So I would only be looking for a connector. My guess is it'll probably make at least one more move higher, and then you'll have to decide what you want to do with it. Again, something like this, more actually probably WXY would be better, but you have something like that, and then it's a W, you get X and Y. We could even get another push lower in X, but it doesn't look likely. So I'd sort of be looking for, and then another move higher in Y, and then it could go back all the way back down and break those lows. Because it's corrective based on what I'm looking at. And then the next NOT. Let's see here. Again, not a lot of data. We'll just have to assume it's some kind of 5-wave move up, 3 down. That looks good. So this one is probably the most bullish of the ones I've just looked at for you. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a flat, and that's probably close to finishing right there. So this one's probably the most bullish one. Yeah, so it's really interesting chart. We're watching it tonight play out. If it can hold this low, it could get ready to have a big move higher. Maybe I'll do that on our live stream. So I think it's got to hold this low. Now, if it doesn't hold this low, this is 1, 2, and then it risks coming back to retest this low. So this is an important stop area, I would think. But this is kind of what I'm looking at. Thanks again for the super chat. Yeah, let's take a look at Ford. I think Ford had an earnings malfunction breakdown, earnings breakdown, if you want to call it that. And we talked about Ford. The chart predicted they would have an EV calamity, but I guess they also have a warranty problem. About a year ago, we looked at the Ford chart and we were like, yeah, it looks like it's going to have EVs. They bet the farm on EVs, and it looked like to me that based on the chart I was reading, that bet was probably going to fail. And sure enough, it has because of just where the chart, how the chart looked. Let's see what we got going on here. So yeah, so Ford, I know this is tough to hear about Ford, and I don't take this lightly predicting anything like this. Now, here you have a 3-wave move down, okay? So let's just say that's a major low. Let's just say that's the major low. Well, you only have 3 waves up here, okay? 3 waves up. I also have 5 waves down. What if it's not a flat? I just throw that out there. What if it's just a classic ABC correction? And we break this low, like Ford needs a bailout. I don't know. That's why when I started looking at this, I'm like, when we were trading up around, I was like, maybe the EVs is going to cause them to go bust or something. They bet the farm and they blew it. But then again, I'm like, that's probably, let's just give them the bet. Let's say, no, there's no way that can happen. So then we'll say the lows then, we have this chart, but you have 3. So this has got to be a leading diagonal, right? It's got to be some kind of leading diagonal out. But we need more downside, and we need a connector, right? We had 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, we need 3, but you're gonna risk breaking this 2. But you need to come down again, at least another swing, but you can't break this 2 at 406. So I would say, why don't we hit this trend line here? We come down, hit this trend line, and then we look for wave 5. And then we look for another big pullback down here. And then maybe, just maybe, Ford will be reborn. So that's the scenario that I can think of. The other scenario is basically it's going for another government bailout. And it bet the farm on EVs. And they lost that bet. That's what the other chart is saying. The ABC chart, A, B, C is saying they screwed up. They bet the farm, and they lost the farm. And maybe they get bailed out. Maybe they don't this time. I don't know. But I'm not going to show that count in Ford only because it just doesn't seem. It seems like almost unthinkable to me, but I mean, if this comes down and breaks this 2 here, then that's the count, guys. That means it's coming down. It's going to come down, and it's going to probably need another bailout. That's what's going to mean. But that's what I look at. So I think it's going to do that. But I think you need another push lower. It may hit the trend line. It may not. And then we get this 5. And we could take this high out again up here. Okay, then was that Rivian or something? Rivian, let's take a look at that quick. Rivian was tricky on our as we've been trying to project Rivian. We did not want to get too bullish on Rivian, by the way, I think, because we have a 4. So looking for this 5th wave down, if it can survive it, right? There's no guarantee. Now we think it will, but again, looking for another push lower. We did not break out. We're looking for. So if we could break 20, then my charts negate it. This is the bottom, but it did tag the buy area, so my count could be off. And we talked about this, but I just think this is what's going to play out, and then we'll bottom out somewhere around here. But you'll have to do what's best for you. I think though, if it could take 20 out, then I think the low's in, and Rivian should make it back up to the 44, 48 or higher area pretty easily, actually. But until that happens, I'd be careful. I'd be careful in it, because you could be chasing a wave 4 top. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the next week or two of trading. I guess it's got earnings. I guess that's going to be important for this stock. Mark Jones. Oh, appreciate the big super chat, Mark. Yeah, and I'm glad I'm teaching people. That's why I started my channel, man. I started my channel because there's just so much bad advice on the internet. I was watching people lose so much money listening to idiots. Typically, they're perma bears or perma bulls. They never change, is why they lose their money. They're always just one side, and they just look for evidence to justify they don't change. And the thing about my style is I change on a dime, and I don't have any emotion. I trade like a robot, like a computer, and I don't get attached to any stock. I don't care about any stock I own. I dump it at any moment. I'm willing to walk away from it in a heartbeat, without a second thought, and that's how I trade. And I'll buy anything. I don't care if it's Rivian or TAN or ChargePoint. I don't give a shit. If a chart's a good chart, I'm buying it. That's how I trade. Now, other people have personal bias, and they have they have other systems, but they get into too much hope and denial, and then they may change at the end of the cycle, which you're seeing some bears do. A lot of prominent bears have now flipped bulls, or they've quit, like that Morgan Stanley guy, right, or JP Morgan guy. Like that's typically happens at the end of a cycle, right, when the bears are full. Like, so that's telling me the bulls is kind of coming to an end of a cycle for bulls, and now everyone's kind of bullish, right, on the internet. You don't see a lot of people calling a crash or anything. Now there are a few, but my channel, I just try to give you how to trade, but how to trade is also different than how to do these charts, right? Because you got to know when to go in and stop. So that's what I'm trying to teach you too, and try to help you through this, so you don't lose all your money and buy at random times and are confused. Anyway, good luck on. But appreciate that super chat, Mark. Eddie, again, thanks for that super chat as well. Appreciate that. $5, man. Thank you. So it looks like I got through super chats. I'll go back up to the questions and just kind of keep going where I left off. I did IBRX. I did Tilray. I did those other two. I did not do Serve, but I think we've already done that. I think somebody asked me about this one already, I think. It sounds familiar. I mean, maybe not. Let's see. I guess we didn't do it. I thought we'd done it. I must be mixing it up with something else. It's a robotics play. So right away here, you look at this connector wave, down, connector, drop. So some kind of 3-wave move. And then you have 3 up. And then you have down, a connector, and down. So it looks like the sequences are in here for potential 3-wave correction. You're in the buy area. You're below 924. So I think you have to go. You're going to be bullish off this low. So the way to play this is to chart it bullish off the low, and then let the market tell you otherwise. So you got to stay above this level, which has made a lot of room now. You have bearish divergence at this peak. So this is some 5th wave. Some 5th wave here. So I'd be looking for a pullback down to the wave 4 area. of 640. So this looks like it's ready to pull back. Now we could still get an extended fifth. There's still a chance wave 5 can make one more push higher here, and that's actually likely. So I think you could get one more push higher, but then I think it's a big pullback coming. Okay, that's more, and then it's probably buyable again, and then for another push, another move up. So that's kind of how I see it right now on Serve. Looks like I got another super chat from Eddie. Hey, appreciate that second super chat here. INMD. Is that a healthcare? What is is that INMD? What is that? In mode, yes, healthcare, I think. What is that? Is in mode healthcare? What do these guys do? Yeah, they're medical device or some shit like that. Okay. So we were looking for more downside. So we have this wave 2. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like we're finishing up here. We've seen some major collapses in medical devices. Okay, right? Dexcom, Edward Life Science. So I mean, I'm not gonna I wouldn't be surprised if we turn on the TV and this has a big move down. I'm just saying. It looks like it's set up to do that. You know, the only tricky thing that could happen is we could still be in this wave 2 and push higher a little bit. Tough to say, but I would still be looking for more downside on this. I would not think we're at a low. In fact, we could even have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can even put the 1 there and put the 2 there, and maybe we make another push higher up to 20 and then drop. There's really no good trade here, but I do forecast lower prices. So thanks again for the super chat. So let's just keep going back to the questions. Oh, MasterCard. Oh, MC. I don't know what I did. I must have typed that shit in wrong or something. I don't know what I was doing. I must have typed that in wrong. MA. Okay, MA is MasterCard. Well, here we go. We got MasterCard. All right, MasterCard. So we have Visa's bearish. Let's look at MasterCard. Nice secular bull. You know, people want to spend money, right? So you have the grand super cycle corrected right here. Bottomed out in October 22. That's what it looks like to me. And now we're pushing higher in 3. Yeah, I don't think this can be a flat. This almost looks like, see, now this looks like it's too much of an extension to call this a flat. So this is a little different look than Visa. It's probably a wave, it's probably in wave 4, like the rest of the market. It's probably something like, maybe even, hold on. Yeah, see, we have to put the 1 there. There's just no good way to do it. And then put the 3 there, the 4 there, a 5. My guess is 3 will continue on. We'll get a 5 like the rest of the market, and then you'll get a gigantic pullback, right? Boom, boom, boom. So this one is a 4-5 setup. Let's take a look at this 4. You know, then you're going to overlap a little bit. A lot of divergence here, but not on the weekly. Yeah, I think I'll just kind of call it like this for now. I think way I would label this 4 wave is some kind of ABC. And this is some kind of triangle C wave. Just like the rest of the market, it could be close to a bottom, like this one I don't think will fail. I think this will make a new high, and then I think it will pull back pretty hard. Something like this is what I would expect. Now, if we don't get that, and we just start dropping, then this is a really interesting chart because we only have 3 up. This would be too big for, I mean, to me, this is too big for a flat. I mean, see, we poked above the 618. Now, there's no rule. There's no Elliott wave rule that says a flat has to be a certain size. It's just unusual. So I guess if we break down hard, and this isn't happen, which I think is a 5% chance, I think you got to label it a flat. There's no other way to label it, which would be a retest of these lows like what I've got Visa doing. So, I don't think that's going to happen here, but I think we just have to watch this trend line, right? We're right on the trend line area. If that starts breaking down, that would be another clue. Let's look at the larger degree cycle. See, it's got plenty of room to fall. The flat would have to come and we'd have to break this to confirm a flat. So yeah, so I think you got a good chance at a wave 5, a really good chance at the wave 5 is what I'm thinking. Okay, and then after that, I think a big pullback, big nasty pullback, and then you're then in the future will be hopefully pretty good. So anyway, that's good. Appreciate that. Let's just kind of flip through your questions here. And then Visa, of course. Yeah, so we just looked at MasterCard. Visa's a little different. We've done Visa. Visa, look, we didn't break the 301. See, this is a better flat. We had 3. And here, I think we broke the trend. See, we broke the trend. So I like the flat in Visa. We had this as a short area, and it's played out. So this is different chart. This would be back to retest this low. So I don't know why they would diverge. Why would Visa be more bearish than MasterCard? I can't, like, fundamentally, I don't know these companies well enough to tell you, but but the chart's the chart. I can't change what I'm seeing here. Like, obviously Visa is more bearish than MasterCard. I mean, it is. It just is more bearish. I don't know why it is. It just is. Now, the good thing about Visa is if we do pull back in this wave too, this is a grand super cycle buy. So this is a generational opportunity because, let's just face it. If Visa crashes, there's probably the economy's over, right? This is the economy. So too will find support. So this could be a great generational buy opportunity possibility. Visa, when we do find this low. MasterCard already made its low. It already made its 2, in my opinion, unless it's a flat and we're tricked. So it's weird that MasterCard seems to be more bullish than Visa. I wonder if it's getting more market share. It's getting better. I don't know. It's just something I'm seeing in the chart. The chart is telling me investors want MasterCard a little more than they want Visa. All right, let's take a look. Let's keep going again. Sage, if the super cycle 5 is high probability, what sectors, countries have favorable super cycles forming? India, Brazil. I don't want to say India. So I saw India forming. We already looked at that. It looked like the most bullish indice of them all. The Nifty. There was another international one I want to point out. I thought it was Brazil. I have to find where it is in here, in this mess. It's one of these. This one. Okay, Brazil could be in a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 setup. If Brazil could pull back down to 23.11 and hold this low at $20, it could be breaking this downtrend since 2008. That would be a significant a significant move. Now, of course, if we break this low, it could just, I guess, go to zero. I don't know, but it doesn't look like it has a lot of more room to go. So this to me looked pretty bullish. I wasn't gonna, I almost had my hand on the buy button right around here, but then I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I'll just be a little more patient, and if I can pick it up here, I'll get a better entry. And that's actually looked like what's playing out. So keep your eye on the EWZ Brazil. Again, I don't know why it's bullish. Maybe it's oil, I don't know what shit it's got down there, commodities and stuff. Like, I don't know. But the chart's the chart, right? I think there's another one, if I remember here, another one of these emerging market plays. If I can find it. Oh yeah, maybe it's up here. Vietnam off of this low, 928, could be a 1-2. So Vietnam could be a 1, could be a 2, could be a 1, 2, same setup. It's another possibility. Again, as long as 1072 holds. So you've got a couple like emerging market opportunities that don't show like it's in a wave 5 top and it's going to crash, right? It just doesn't show that. Now if it does want to crash with the world markets, well then if it's going to break 9, then I guess it's going to go down to like $2, which it can, I guess. So I'm just saying it's showing a setup that has a low risk, high probability reward, because you could buy it here and just put a stop here. And maybe you're getting a generational buy in these emerging markets right now. I don't know. But if you put your stop here, okay, you stop out and you didn't really lose anything. But hell, it's worth trying, right? It's worth trying. It's like the setup is pretty. It's there. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I mean, so I'm just showing you a couple of trade ideas. So those are some indices that I've been looking at. So they're definitely not the ones you read about on TV, Euro stocks, DAX, all that shit. These are different. This is different stuff. Not sure what that means, why those would be bullish, and maybe it's, again, they're commodities driven. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. So let's keep going. Ask your questions. Appreciate the high CH. Graham. How low do you think BMEA will get? Let's see. Looks like some kind of, I don't know if it's a biotech or what this is. All right, so it does look like 5 up here and 3 down. So this low is very important, 267, right? I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Right, it's got to hold, right? You think it does. How low can it go? Well, let's just take a look at where the buy is. It's right there. So it may not go much lower at all. In fact, it may have already bottomed. It may not go lower at all. Let's look at the RSI. You do got RSI reset. Barely. It's kind of, would have liked to see it a little stronger, but that's okay. You have 3 up, 3 down, connector, 3. Let's take another step back at this real quick. Actually, that's 1 full wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. So you're done here. Do I think it's going to go lower? That may be the low, and it may be in a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. So it may not go low. It may not go lower anymore. It may be ready to start a new bull market. So I don't see any reason why it would go lower. That's kind of how I look at this count. So good luck on that play. Let's see. Forward air looks remarkable if it gets over 31. What's your probability? Let's take a look at it. forward air. Again, it's some kind of grand supercycle correction in a three-wave move down that ended there. So again, you're just bullish off that low. I won't have to label it. So it looks like to me you've got a 1-2 here. Now the question is what is that mess? Looks like a 3-4-5 right here. So it's pulling back in wave 5. It's probably got more downside. Now this wave 5 can still extend, so you don't have confirmation the 5 is in. In fact, you could even still be in the 4 and pull back and get the 5, but you know, so this it's not enough data, but it obviously made an impulse. So I do think, you know, the odds are it will be over 32. It will go higher, but I think how it gets there is not enough data. Looks like you're going to form some kind of right shoulder here, and then it should come out, and you should be in the 40s at least. So, but I mean, it could pull back now. The 5 could extend a little bit, pull back, could still be in 4, make another high, pull back. Too many possibilities on this shorter time frame. So I'll just give you this. But yeah, I think in your question is probability of breaking 31. I think it's a high probability, but I don't know when. I think it's a high probability it'll break it, but I don't know how long it's going to take to consolidate in here to come out. Okay, let's see what we got here. I did Visa. Appreciate it, Graham. Yeah, you definitely, I leave all my videos on there, guys. I try, now there is a gap in my videos because I shut my channel down because it went crazy. And I've mentioned this before. Back when I started my channel, for those of you that don't know, I started my channel at the beginning of the bear market in 2021, literally that December. And some people originally followed me. I started my channel back here. We nailed that, by the way. We nailed that top. I mean, I was screaming at the top of my lungs to short tech, short the Russell. I mean, you know, I had like $100,000 short on the Russell. I mean, this was a great opportunity here. This was great. Now, here, this was good. Now, what happened in technology, and again, this is my channel. The videos are gone on my channel, my older ones. We broke this channel on tech. I posted a video here about going long tech. I would say everyone on my channel that followed me was like skeptical, but there were a few people that were just like went crazy, like death. I even got death threats and stuff. It was insane, the negative like feedback. It was so, and I was scared. I was actually worried because I'm new. I started this, and I was like, I got to shut this shit down because it's not worth it. So I shut it down. All my videos are gone. And then I came back later and I talked to some people, and they just like shut the comments off, and I've done that ever since, and I've been back on. But we lost the videos. But I think what happened here when I was like go long tech, what happened here was I think I was given the answers to the test. And I think some big players were trying to accumulate, and they were pissed off. They were pissed off. I was like telling you guys what to do, and they wanted you to still be dumb and short tech. And I think that's what happened. And I think I was just given the answers to the test, and some people were just so angry, so angry. Now, even here when I'm saying get ready, be bearish, I'm not getting the anger from the bulls. I'm getting a little bit of friction, but not like I was down here. But down here, it was insane. The anger of not saying the market was going lower. I'm like, guys, why do you want the market to go lower? Like, do you guys want to be like living in in caves and shit again? I mean, like why do you want like at some point want the market to go up? So that's what I did, and then we held through this. And I think what we did in our channel is we took profit on the tech trade right around here, and we did miss this because I was afraid of another correction. We took profit, but then we started to short this. So we actually shorted here, here, and here. We actually nailed the shorts on every single peak exactly. And then here we got out, and then we were on the sidelines, and I wanted to get confirmation. I was afraid of a double correction. And when we got confirmation of the breakout, and I really wanted to be safe, and I got this confirmation, then we went long, max long. And we've been long ever since, until recently, get stopped out on tech. And now we're just trading again. So that's how we've done this, navigated this market on the channel. And we've been we were short pretty much this whole correction here, this whole time. Trading some of these pops. I think one of them, we got out again too early on the long side. But that's how we did it. But again, yeah, I'm always going to be on here. I was on here because there's a lot of bad information on the internet. So again, what's the bad information happening right now is the perma bulls. The perma bulls just saying, oh, it's just going to be like that. I think that's not realistic, guys. I think to say that this, again, they're saying that this is a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and it's just going to go to infinity, and oh my God, I'm rich and a millionaire. I think that's ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as the bears here were saying, oh, it's just going to go to 80, 100 Q. Like, it's just crazy. This cycle's going to come to an end. It's going to correct, and then there'll be another opportunity. I just don't buy the perma bull scenario, and I think they're going to lead people to slaughter because, well, we get this, whenever this comes into play, they're going to be buy the dip. Oh shit, buy the dip, buy the dip. And they're just going to keep losing and losing and losing and losing. And then they'll even buy and load up here, and they'll keep losing and lose. So I think they'll lose everything. Their followers will lose everything. It's just what I'm thinking. So, but we don't have to worry about that yet because we're still not, I don't think the sequence is over. So, but anyway, let's just give you guys some background on my channel for new people that follow me. All right, looks like I got another super chat while stock. Let's look at another crypto. All right, I'll just pick an exchange. Algo. Oh, Algorand. Yeah, I'm familiar. I've heard of this one. It's been a while. I haven't looked at it in a long time. All right, so every time you break that low, that's always a dangerous sign. I always call that the go to zero risk. So there's always that chance. That's what happened to Luna, by the way, and by many others. So you're playing with fire, buying longs when you break those secular lows like you have here. There's not going to be a good way to time it. So you'd want to see if there's opportunity to short. And we have to look for a nice three-wave move. So that would have been a great short here, which it already has played out. So now there's really no trade here. There's really no trade. It's got 3. It's got 1, 2, 3 connector, 1, 2, 3. So there may be a bigger three-wave move coming. So maybe you get something like this, and then you have another short opportunity. Now you could try to go long and put your stop at this 8.6 to try to play this Y wave, or even put it at 11 cents. But it's speculative. But that's how to trade this right now, and just kind of look for this little pop there. The chart itself is not a good looking chart, right? But I don't have to tell you that. You can see that here. This looks like some kind of ABC, by the way, if it is corrective. But by breaking that low, it really does set you up for more downside. But I think I wouldn't be surprised to see another bounce, just looking at the wave structure. All right. Thanks for the super chat. So let's see here. IWM and SP up overnight. Bitcoin hit. Does this change? I think, like I said, we know we're due a bounce in the market, right? So again, them being up is not a surprise to me, right? Because look at the triple Qs, right? Again, I want to see a bounce. Now, I don't know what this B wave is going to look like, right? It could come up to 478. Hell, it could come up to 493. It may be a triangle and not really come up anymore at all. But it's due a bounce. Now, it's due a bounce. The IWM, you know, I have it in this three-wave move. Now, if we can take this high out at 225.60, which it looks like we probably did, we did. So because we've done that, we could, yeah, it changes the wave count. We could probably say that 4 is in. This 4 is probably in. And then now that that 4 is in, now you have 5 up, right? You'll have 5 up. So again, you're pushing up in this wave 5. The Dow, we already called the low earlier. It looked like this was already bottomed. And we should make a 5th wave and pull back. But we don't have to. We can keep going. So the market is due a bounce, guys. Again, we're due a bounce. So I'm not surprised to see upside. But I do believe this bounce at some point will fail. It is a potential short opportunity as it plays out more. Okay, that's how I look at it. Bitcoin, let's see how it did. So Bitcoin to me needs to take out 69.5 to negate the flat. So the flat is still in play. So there's no change in the wave count in Bitcoin yet. It's got to push up more. No change. So there's still a stalemate. It's a stalemate between bears and bulls still. So it could be a 1-2, 1-2, and we're out, or it could be a flat with a rug pull down. And like I said, guys, don't get too bulled up on these bounces, because I did show there's a possibility this bounce is a triangle, and it doesn't come up as high as you think. So or it's a weak bounce where you back test, maybe it back tests this wedge a little bit more. You know, so just keep that in mind. Now the Dow Jones is different, but even this bounce looks like it's a 5, and then we'll do a pullback. The Russell, this looks like 5 up. We made 5, it will do a pullback, right? So we should get a pullback in the Russell too. Now that we have, you know, something like this, we should get a pullback. All right, so just something to think about. Now, if we get now the Russell makes a new high, the Dow makes a new high. When we get this pullback in 2, you could try to buy that 2 to play for that 3 against, you know, you could either put the stop at 215 or you could put it at 217, because now you have 5 up, so it's better. I wouldn't trade the Qs, I wouldn't trade the SPY, just trade the Dow and Russell on this 2 pullback. So this could be a long trade to play 3, and then I would probably just get out of it because I don't want to pick up pennies in front of a steamroller either. Just something to think about. Something to think about. And I don't think this is a flat because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't think this is a flat either here, where it's an A, B, C. So I think it's like a 1, 2. Okay? So that's how I think of that. Got a few more. Oh, a bunch of super chats coming in. All right. Let's take a look at what we got here. Yeah, people are complacent, Jay. But that's how it works. The sentiment has to reset. We need a weekly cycle correction and maybe even a monthly cycle correction in tech. That will really shake up sentiment. All right, Meta, KTOS, and VLO. Let's take a look. Let's see here if I have that. I thought I had that. Kratos, yeah, we have that somewhere in here. I got to resort. All right. So we're going up in W just like we had. There's your A, there's your connector, so higher. So I'll be looking for at least prices to get up to somewhere around 29.67, 32.68, somewhere around there. Somewhere in this area. So it looks like it's pushing higher. Looks like you've got a 1-2. Looks like it's got a wave 3 coming for W here, and then a big pullback. But then it should make another high later, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. All right, VLO. That's a new one. We don't have that. Oh, Valero. Uh, we do have that charted. Okay, so we've been charting Valero for a while now. Everything's played out according to plan. This is obviously some kind of 4. Now, since these waves overlap, that means it's not wave 3. It's probably another 1, 2. So I'd be looking for a 5th wave and then a pullback and another wave 2. Like that. This 4 can end at any moment, is what I'm thinking. Okay? Thanks for the super chat. Stinky Sheets, all right. Hot Nvidia, bought at 107. Yeah, Nvidia's due a bounce, so you probably already made money on it, right? But we just don't know when that bounce is gonna fail. But it may hang in there for a little bit. Hawaiian Holdings, is that that's what we're talking about? Hawaiian Holdings. All right, let's take a look at that. Hawaiian Holdings is one we haven't charted before. Looks like an 8. Well, 5 waves down, connector, down. We have divergence, but we may have to go to the quarterly chart to just take a better look. We just erased divergence on the quarterly, so I will call that a 3-wave move with a major low there off of this wave. So we're bullish off of the bottom. So we'll be looking for bullish counts. And it looks like that's what we're getting here, right? It looks like you've got some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, right? And now you're pulling back. And 3, you came to the 4, so it actually could be finished. It could be finished. It hit the buy area already and wicked out of it. So I think there's no reason to, I mean, it could always come back for another swing lower, but there's really no reason to think that it would do that. So I would just be looking for more upside at this point. But again, there's always a chance of a double correction where you bounce and fail one more swing. But whatever this is, it's buyable. We should get another swing higher. And then Nvidia, I did that a little earlier. I would just say that Nvidia's in a higher degree correction. I believe we are bouncing here, but that bounce at some point will fail. X can come, it can actually come back and be a flat even and break this high and then drop. So there's too many possibilities to know, but I believe it's going to be supported here and come out, but fail later. The reason I think it's going to fail is this wave 4 matches this wave 2. This wave 2 took almost 1 year. This is what, 2 weeks. So it's too short. It's too quick. Also, the weekly cycle has broke on Nvidia. That needs to play itself out. It's going to bleed lower as the weekly cycle is now broken down. So you're in a weekly cycle correction in Nvidia, which also lines up with this correction. So this is most likely will bounce, but most likely will fail. We're looking for this target, final targets of 80, 75, this wave 4 area. You usually lose the whole wave 5. That's what I'd be looking for. A surprise will be a crash correction, but if it does that, that would be like a rare opportunity to go long. Obviously, that you would want to take advantage of. But I don't think that's. I think it's going to bounce, and this could be choppy. It could be, like I said, so many things. But at some point, we'll get another leg lower. Okay. Thanks for the super chat. George T, thank you for answering my question. Yeah, sure, no problem. Argentina Super Cycle X. I don't know what the Argentina index is. I guess I could try to find it. I could try to find it and see. I don't know off the top of my head what they call that. Let's see here if we can find. Yeah, maybe if you could put in the chat whatever they call themselves, I'll look at that, but I'll look at XAS real quick. Exact Sciences. So looking here, you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then a crash correction, right? You don't really have a connector, but that sometimes in crash corrections like this, that can happen where it's hard to find the connector wave. But probably this is it right there. So we have to say that this is an important low that has to hold, and then we can build higher from there. When I look at this, this looks, I could force 5, but I don't like the look of it. But I could force 5 waves. This is your connector. There's your reset. So this low has to hold here too. So my guess, and look at the boom, you reset this leg. So yeah, so my guess is this low has to hold 40.64. We should build higher out of this. Now, if this low breaks, it's definitely in danger of breaking this low. If this low breaks, then it's going to be in a death spiral lower. It's going to come down to these lower areas eventually. So this is kind of a do or die moment for the company. The next is wire. Can you George, if you could put in the chat wire which one you're looking at? Like there's a 2 here, so I'm not sure which one you want. And then if you could put the Argentina one in there, I'll finish that up. But once I see it come in, I'll come back to your question. Again, thanks for the big super chat. Yeah, thanks for the sub. Yeah, my subs are growing. Yeah, we started with 0, right? So we're just grinding away. HA is Hawaiian Airlines. That big wick was the news that the DOJ blocked the merger. Oh man, that was Hawaiian Airlines. That's the one we predicted that pump, didn't we? That was the one I was like, why the hell is Hawaiian Airlines going to go? That was cool. Okay, Hawaiian Airlines. All right. Interesting. That's what that was. Did we, let me go back to that again. Hawaiian Airline. That's what this is. Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah, I think we talked about this. I remember talking about this Hawaiian Airlines thing. All right. Well, again, George, like I said, I'll come back to you. Then appreciate it, guys. I'll go back to the top where I was looking at you guys' questions. I think we left at GoPro. Whoa, I haven't seen GoPro in a while. Yeah, let's go to GoPro real quick. GoPro. Okay. GoPro broke a key pivot and it's been in death spiral. Right. I was long it. I stopped out and I don't care about GoPro anymore. But if you're in it, it probably was, I think it's close or has started a relief rally. Last I peeked at it, did I get rid of it altogether? I may have. No, it's on here somewhere. I just couldn't find it. All right, so we're in this wave 5. We just pushed out, so we'll have to put the 5 down here, right? So, again, it's either done or it's going to extend in 5 with a 1-2. So we don't have a big enough bounce to call this whole thing finished. Let's look at the weekly cycle. So we don't have confirmation. So it could still be in wave 5 until we break this trend line. So I would just assume the worst, and when the weekly cycle breaks, then you know you're in the bottom, because it could still be this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could still do that and push lower. Okay, we just don't know. We just don't know, but I don't like to trade it. I don't like to trade it. So then Sino, S-I-N-O. Okay, let's look at that. So I would just trade this bullish off the low. It actually looks like 5 waves. So it looks like it's like some kind of 1-2, 1-2 setup playing out. I think this one's kind of easy. You can go long, put your stop at 105, and if you get lucky, you get a big move on that. That's a pretty simple chart right there. Fastly, that was another death spiral one. Let's see where we are with that one. I think I put that in. Growth. Let me just resort everything. Go back to the top here and see where I stuck it. Yeah, maybe I don't have it up here. All right, fastly, we're looking for this 5th wave. Ideal target was all the way down here. This actually looks like it's complete, but I would like to see more downside, so I'm thinking it's going to do something like this and come down. So I think it's still got more downside. Let's just take another look. Yeah, it's just an impulse down. I wouldn't like to buy it. I would be very disciplined. I won't chase this. But if it were to make it down to this area here, then it's speculative long potentially on a wave 5. Okay, George. Okay, cool. All right, thanks. And yeah, let me know about wire, which one you want. I'll go ahead and do Argentina for you. Merval index. BYMA, this one. So I'm going to assume this is the one you want. Well, that's pretty bullish. Again, don't they have like the hyperinflation going on? I talked about these charts, right? Like, remember I was joking. I was like, Moon Boy is like, oh, we're going to moon. But maybe it's because of hyperinflation, the wrong reasons. We're going to go up for the wrong reasons. That's your wave 3 right there. So what we'll do is we'll look for 5 up here. And a cycle break on the long-term cycle. So this leg looks like it is resetting, which is the long-term cycle. Now, also the weekly cycle looks like it's resetting. So it does look like this is in. It should retrace back to this low here over time. So on the grand super cycle, this is how I'd label it. And we are pulling back. There's always a chance 5 can extend, right? There's always chance of Moon Boy 1-2, 1-2, right? But I'm just giving you what I think is the most likely path. Is that down here, okay? But it's going to take time and it's got to play out. But that's what it looks like to me, okay? On the Argentina and wire, let's go look at wire real quick. Wire is Encore Wire Company. Yeah, I just not, for some reason, I'm just not seeing the symbol. Which can you, George, put the symbol, the exact symbol you want? If you could look it up and throw it in there, I'll type it in exactly how you write it, just so I get the right one. So Tom Lee is a perma bull, right? Remember perma bears, perma bulls. We know the perma bears out there, right, on the internet, Harry Dent and those guys, right? Well, Tom Lee's a perma bull. So one day he'll be wrong. He's doing a good job. 40 to 45% is the Moon Boy scenario, guys. If Tommy Lee's right, then we're actually not in a wave 5. We're in another 1-2, and that is Moon Boy. So he is in Moon Boy scenario. So it's possible, right? It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just very unlikely. It's a low probability situation to have happen. So we just but hey, that's the perma bull chart, right? The perma bull chart is Moon Boy. It's a series of 1-2s, 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 and you just go 1-2 forever, and then at some point, I guess when you're tired, then you put your 4 in. But I think that's what he's saying. But like I said, at the top of the generational top, the perma bulls will lose all their money, just like the perma bears have lost all their money. That's just kind of how it works. Anyway, but yeah, Tom Lee's perma is Moon Boy. But that's cool. But he's made his followers a lot of money because he's been right, right? And the guys that are trying to top tick the market, the Harry Dents out there, they're missing it. They're missing it. They're missing it. So like again, but those guys are going to be proven right. Harry Dent and all those dudes, they're going to have they'll be right in the end. They'll have their crash. It's coming. We're early, right? Always remember the time in the 2018, I think it was the 2018 sell-off, December, maybe it was like he was almost crying. He wasn't expecting that second leg lower. We got after that Fed meeting in December. Tommy Lee almost was in tears. That was capitulation right there. They brought him on TV. He was almost like ready to cry. He couldn't believe the market took another leg down because we were, so again, perma bulls, man, you get that they're going to be destroyed in any sell-off. Yeah, so George, I'll come back to Wire. I'll just keep going with the other ones. We'll go to some crypto here. TR, I appreciate the big super chat. I really appreciate those guys. And I'll just type it in. I've never heard of this crypto, but we'll type it in, and I see it right there. All right, there you go. Let's take a look at it. So it's moving in 3. It's moving in 3, which is okay. There's no big deal about that. It's just how the wave is moving. So now we want to move in 3 down. Now you do have 3 here, but really this is one cycle. This is a connector. So I'd like to see another push lower to finish the 3. That would be the ideal. That would be the ideal case. And then you could get another big 3 up like that. So the question is where you are next. You see here, this connector here took a little bit of time. Like it went from April to May, looks like about a month. So you got July 14. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get we go to mid-August in this connector before we get Y, get another move higher in X. Is what I'm thinking, to finish out X, and you get something like this. You get another opportunity here, and you come up to this area here, 7,086, and then you get your final swing lower, down, and then you get this. So that's the idea. So appreciate the big super chat, but yeah, I'll be looking for this move up in X. This just seems too quick. It doesn't seem complete. It seems incomplete to me. This would be better. A better look to see that move up there. All right, Alex, Vuzi. Let's take a look at Vuzi. That was a favorite back in the COVID days, and they have a good product. It's just not taking off like they thought. So great idea, but poor marketing. It is in an area of accumulation. It does look like I have 5 down, and it looks like we want to come off this bottom, but I hadn't looked at it in a while. We only have 3 up, and we have 5 down. So that's never good. So it's probably going to keep extending lower in wave 5. Just keep that in mind. It looks like it's still moving down. And then this looks like 5. right? And then this looks like, so it looks like it's just going to keep going lower. It doesn't have the right look off the bottom. If this could have been an impulse, I would have been more optimistic. But it just looks like it's going to keep grinding lower. And the box just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, right? We need it to stay above the all-time low here. And I think it may break it. If it does, then it's in a very bad situation. It's in bad shape. So I've been just kind of keeping my eye on it. Now, if by some chance we could push higher, then we're looking at a connect. Like I'm sorry, we push higher past this high, then we're extending into, or we're in a different count. But that's how I'd look at VUSI right now. I'd be careful. It's like, it looks bearish to me now that we did not make 5 up here on this too. Qubit or QUBT, quantum computing. How's that going? So again, charts like this, we just go from the low and we chart a bullish count. Again, real messy. If that's a 1, that's an A, that's a B, so we need C. So we need to break this low, but respect the all-time low. We haven't done that yet. I think it's going to push lower. This is a very hard chart to trade. You're going to need to count 5 down from here. So maybe that's another way of doing it. Right, something like that. Like that. And then see, it's just keeps extending down. So I don't have to keep going, but as you can see, it's got more downside. I haven't finished these waves. All those waves have to finish. It has to break that low, but then it has to hold this low. I don't know if it's going to be able to do it. If it doesn't break this low, then yes, when this finishes, it will have a big bounce, but that bounce will fail. So yeah, I would be, look, this has to keep pushing lower. There's always a possibility of extensions, of bigger bounces. So but it looks like it's just grinding lower in an impulse. Bama, appreciate it. What sort of time frame are you thinking regarding the super cycle corrections? Always look at like the monthly, typically for super cycles. Weeklies also could be a clue. I think tech is a good way to understand this better, because technology super cycle on the quarterly, on the weekly chart. Remember, Nvidia's already broke the weekly, guys, right? That could be the tell. NASDAQ has not, okay? Now, I anticipate this will break. And we think that because of the daily cycle. Okay, the daily cycle to me needs to come down. I think come down here. Now, the weekly cycle, when I look at it here, oh, my bad, I drawn it from the wrong spot here. So there we go. So we always draw it from the low, the price, not the low from the price. So that's important. So the weekly cycle, I think it's going to break. And when it does, that should usher in a bear market like we had here. But once that happens, the monthly cycle obviously is going to roll over this cycle. Okay? This is already, you see how the lower high, so this will probably come all the way down. That's your secular bear. So I think that's why tech is in a very dangerous situation. But we have the fifth wave, right? So the weekly cycle may not be over just yet. What if we get this fifth wave, like I have here, and we get saved, and we make more bearish divergence, and then when this comes in, then we break everything. So you see, that's why we're so close. We're close, but we're not there the way I could say the cycle is over in the indices, because it isn't, but it's close. But that's how I look at the monthly and weekly. And you could just do that with all your indexes and get an idea, you know. And some are more bullish than others, but tech is definitely the weakest of them all. Okay, so that's how I look at it. And but the monthly cycle, when it does bottom out, the last time it did that was in 2009. Those are generational long opportunities, and I believe we'll have the same opportunity here. I mean, look at this cycle. Look how long it's been. It's due. It's due for this reset. The monthly cycle has gone so long. It almost should have. See, September 22, we bottomed, I think, too soon. Like we never got that capitulation move, which I think sets us up for what we're going to see coming, which is perfect for a wave 5, or God forbid a flat. So I think that's what I'm seeing in the market. To me, that gives me caution. A lot of bearish divergence here. You got a monthly cycle right on the edge. You got a weekly cycle that's pretty close. We already have Nvidia breaking its weekly cycle. So just thinks it's gonna probably it's probably closer to the end than the beginning for sure. These cycles now, and then what you have to do is once you break, then you just draw a new trend line, right, as the cycle plays out. And then when you finally break that, then you know the correction may be over. That's kind of how it works, like we saw here. I think we saw that here, right? Right around here. So we came in and we broke out here, right? So this is kind of a sign like, oh my gosh, the correction's over. Now when we got this pullback, we got a lower low with bullish divergence. This is why I did not like this as a bottom. This is why I did not want to buy this bottom because of this. I wanted to see that cycle reset. We never got it. So this is one thing where I did not buy this bottom because of the setup, because I was afraid that we would get a push lower, which is typically what happens, but we never did, which is why it would be ironic if we get a flat and we end up doing it anyway. Just we made the biggest flat that you could think of. Instead of dropping here or dropping here, the market went all the way to its extreme pain point and then dropped to erase this divergence, and it just comes straight down. It'd be funny if that's how it plays out. I don't think it's going to do that. I think this is just sometimes, I think my system's like usually like around 75, 70, 80% right. I think sometimes it isn't. And then what we did is once we broke the downtrend line, then it was time to go long. So it was a little, but we didn't get that signal in the RSI. It just didn't play out the way we wanted. But this was the clue, right? When you broke the cycle, it was kind of the clue. It's time. It's almost over. And that's kind of what we look for. That's what we look for here. And I think the monthly cycle is a little different. That's the weekly cycle. So the monthly cycle kind of played out like that. And that one did, I think, once it broke, it called the bottom too, right? So that's how I look at these things, okay? Anyway, that's how I look at it. And a lot of people that follow me were mad about this bottom, but I still think it was dangerous because we see so many charts where we get this lower low, and then we come up, and then we boom and we drop. We get it so much, but we just never got that. Because we're looking for a flat, right? We're looking for the flat, in this A, B, C, this flat here, and we just never got it. We never got it here, and we could have got it here. So maybe it's just some big three-wave move. What if we don't get this 5 and it does a flat, and it's just like, that would be insane, guys, if that happened. And then that would play out. And then what that would be is we were actually done wave 5 back here, right? We were done wave 5, like wave 5 was actually here. And then this became an A, B, C. And it did that. Wouldn't that be insane? I don't know. I doubt it's going to happen. I think it's like less than a 5% chance of something like that. But, that a bottom like that usually predicts flats. Or like drops, like that's what it predicts. That's why I did not like to buy that dip, just to kind of show you guys. Okay, going back to wire. Let's go back to wire. Oh, let me make sure I finish your. Okay, I got your question finished. Wire. Let's look at that wire. Wire on the Nasdaq. Wire IS. Price 289. Encore Wire Company based in TX. Let me see if I can find it another way. Hold on. Wire IS. I think I found it. You know, I don't know why it's not showing up on here. I mean, let me go back. Let me just, again, I've typed it in so many different ways. Encore Wire. I don't see it. Let's try it this way. Wire on, let's see if, on the, you said it's on the TX. It didn't help. Yeah, I just not finding it, man. I mean, I'm looking through. I'm typing wire in. I'm looking at the names here. I just not seeing what you're saying. I looked up the internet. The symbol's not coming up. Maybe TradingView just doesn't have what you're looking for. Unless, like, you know, I'm not sure why I can't find it. I just don't see it. If you want to put more information in the chat to help me find it, or if you can find it on your own and then copy whatever you put in TradingView here, I'll type that in. I'm just not seeing it. Maybe TradingView doesn't have it for some reason. So looking at, I can't go through every question. I'm going to be wrapping it up here. I'll just say that Tesla is a wave 4 potentially. So Tesla, guys, is something I'm thinking about trading on Monday with a stop loss at 200 on the long side. But I haven't decided. But you know, because if it isn't that, then you're basically having to say Tesla's going to 100, so 110. So I think the wave 5 is much more likely than that. So I think it's a good risk reward for a 4 and just put a stop at like 200 and try to get this wave 5 and maybe even get the gap fill even if it fails. That's what I'm thinking of trading Tesla on Monday through the TSLL. But I haven't decided. Bitcoin, yeah, how's Bitcoin doing? I mean, like I said, if Bitcoin broke that level I had shown you earlier, it should be okay. Okay, so it broke the level. So I think to me, or did it? It's close. Yeah, I think it's safe to say it's breaking it. So I think the best way to label Bitcoin now is in this count. So it looks like we should be heading off in wave 3. And this makes a lot more sense to me because the Bitcoin and the market can kind of top at the same time. Right? That's probably what's going to happen, right? As we get these wave 5s here, Bitcoin in the market kind of sinks back up and tops at the same time. So it makes more sense. So yeah, it looks like that's what we're playing. It's playing out here. You know, I think this is an 80% chance, this chart, but there is another scenario because you are about to risk divergence here. and just looking at the wave, there is a possibility it does a crazy thing like this. So I wouldn't again go max long. It's too late. Your entry, you know, there is a possibility of that still. I just throw that out there. Um, that it's very low. It's a low likely. I don't say very. It's low likely, but it's possible. So this isn't an area to just be like. So you got to know how you want to trade that. But obviously the area to buy it was here when I told you to buy it, right? We were, if you were following me, guys, we bought it here. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a good trade anymore. The trade was here. This is too much, like 20%, maybe 15% chance it's a B wave rug pull and then out. I think, you know, 85% chance it's this count that I have here. So we'll leave it like this for now. And it does look like crypto's turning the corner. And Bitcoin Cash was kind of the clue, right? It broke out first. We mentioned that. So again, for some reason, Bitcoin Cash has been very bullish this cycle. Up it goes. Okay, so that's what it looks like crypto is gonna do, and yeah, it should just keep pushing higher. We're in wave 5. Ultimately, we should be in the 80s. And if you're a moon boy and get lucky, this was a wave 2, and it just never comes back, which is again very low probability, but I can't rule it out. That's why buying here was a good opportunity, because you could buy here and put your stop at 53.1. That was a huge risk, high reward risk, but amazing that so few people decided to not take that. They were so scared of like Mt. Gox and shit. And I went on my Mt. Gox racks here, if you guys heard me. So we had plenty of time to go long Bitcoin on this setup right there. Yeah, so that's where it is. So that's the count. So hopefully keeps going, pushing up, and we can get to this all-time high. Again, breaking the all-time high will negate the flat in Bitcoin and negate the double top. That's always good too. That's good to know that too. So that's a big thing to have happen. So yeah, GME is I think GME is like this in this tricky connector wave. I think it's gonna do something like this, where it pumps up here and then drops to something like that. It's gonna be messy in here. I don't think this is 2, because to me this looks like 3 down and not 5 down. So I mean, could I force 2? See how we got that capitulation? I mean, either way, I'm saying upside, right? So either way, so maybe I could put the 2 there and I can talk myself into it, but I don't like to do that. But I would say that it seems to want to go higher versus go lower. Okay, for the time being. But I think this is an important level that has to hold. Because if you break that, you're going to break this, and if you break that, I mean, it could really unravel fast. So I think this really has to hold to finish this sequence, and then when this comes in, then it could obviously break this, but it has to hold this low. But within this cycle, you don't want this to come back down and break that low. When that C wave correction comes, what are you invested in? Or are you just short in? C wave, I'm not sure which chart you're referring to, but if you're, I guess, I guess if you want to put in the chat what chart what stock are you mentioning, or because I trade everything a little different, it just depends. Because sometimes I'll go on the sideline and rather on a C wave buy it versus try to short that and just come in at the capitulation point. But it depends. It's so many factors that go into it, but it depends on if you want to put the symbol in. Yeah, and again, George, I don't know why I can't find this wire chart. I just can't find it. I don't know what, maybe TradingView got rid of it or something. I just can't find it. If you want to DM me it later, if I'm offline, I'll try to put it in my video later. So I think it's a good point to wrap up tonight. Looks like we are getting this balance in the indices, which is great. It's healthy. I think showing you the most likely path here in the Dow, the SPY, should get some continuation higher here, and then down the triple Qs, the same thing. The IWM should be pushing higher to maybe as high as 240 in this fifth wave here. And if we take this out on the IWM on cash open, morning on open, then you have to put the 4 there. I mean, even though this looks like 5 waves down, I'm just going to have to force it down because this is just, I just can't, I can't rationalize this being, being an impulse. Like, it just, I have to label it as a 4. So that's how I have to look at that. Okay, guys, appreciate all your time, and we'll see how we go tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow evening I'll try another live stream if the market gives us something interesting to talk about.